Democratic Education Network's International Student Conference is one of many projects that DEN organizes yearly. As with other DEN's projects, this is also a staff students initiative that attempts to provide students with sets of skills such as organization, management, communication, confidence building, and above all, building a bridge between the university, schools, colleges, and communities in London and abroad. The conference is multidisciplined, attempting to involve students from different parts of the world, focusing on themes that matters to the realities in the global context. This is an excellent opportunity for students from home and abroad to present their research, engage with each other, and develop a relationship to build new projects in the future. After 2 years of online conferences, this academic year DEN organized a hybrid one. The conference was both at the university and online. We attracted students from the schools, colleges, and universities from the UK, Vietnam, USA, Turkey, Peru, Georgia, Latvia, and Estonia. DEN also collaborated with another conference, Westminster Conversation Towards an Anti-Racist University. Again, DEN played a significant role in supporting the organizational aspects of this conference. What follows are the students, the teachers, and the academic staff's reflections and views from London colleges, our international partner, and Professor Divyesh Anand.
There were two conferences. The first one on the 12th of May, which was completely academic driven, and we talked about how to promote decolonization in educational spaces. It was very interesting and insightful. And while on the 13th of May, our conferences were completely student-driven, and we all had the chance and opportunity to speak about the panel issues we were most passionate about, such as climate change, geopolitics, development, international security, contemporary British politics, and so on. And I learned a lot from the experience, as it was my first public speaking experience that I had. I usually struggle a lot with public speaking issues, so I think this was a good opportunity to start with my career as well.
And the first thing I'd like to start off with is what I was doing at the conference. I was basically one of the photographers, and I think it was a really interesting experience. We had different panels of different people who specialized in different things, and they brought about their experiences and made it more personal, like the different topics that they were talking about. And it had such an interactive audience as well, so we got to learn a lot from the audience as well as the panel speakers. So the second conference was about the students. It was made by the students for the students, inclusive of the students. So I think I like that one because it allowed us to speak about what we're passionate about. So we had different members of DEN and the University of Hanoi, as well as students from Peru, come forth and talk about different topics that they had researched before, that they had written work on, and shared their experiences while doing the work, and shared their work personally with the audience. And I think that that was a really good move on DEN, because it allowed us to express ourselves as well. And we would have different breaks so we could interact with each other and ask each other more questions as well. I would definitely encourage people to join these conferences because they're really educational, and you get to learn a lot from different people as well as meet different people. It allows you to network, and I think that's really good, especially since I'm a uni student. I'm in my second year. I just finished. So yeah, it helps you when you're going out into the world.
On the first day of the conference, I did many organizational things, such as giving people t-shirts, giving them microphones, signing up their names, and so on. Another thing that I did was actually delegating jobs. Because in the beginning of that day, I was always like, what else can I do? And then I ended up with many tasks. And fortunately, I realized in the middle of the day that, actually, I can collaborate with my colleagues. So yeah, that was a great lesson for life, to be honest. Then At the end of the first day, I got another super interesting task, and that was collecting quotes from the presenters. In the beginning, I was like, they all had so genuinely inspiring talks, and I really want to talk to them, but I don't really want to take up their networking time because I don't think I'm smart enough. But when I had to go and collect the quotes, I kind of had to go and talk to them and learned that I am able to have meaningful conversations with people. So that's great. And finally, on the second day of the conference, I did a bit different things, such as presenting my own work, listening to other colleagues from the University of Westminster, from a business school from Peru and Vietnam as well, and also chairing a meeting. I'm very grateful because it's always so good to listen to people when they speak about things that they really know about and they're really passionate about. So thank you so much for that. And finally, what I have to admit is throughout this year, I have learned that I am more confident when I'm speaking to many people at the same time than I am in everyday conversations. That is a bit strange, but it actually makes sense, because when I'm talking to many people about something that I really know about and I'm passionate about, this opens up an opportunity for them to come to me after the talk and share their experiences and knowledge in the area. That's kind of like a shortcut to getting to people and the recipe for having meaningful conversations.
A first year student of the University of Westminster, and I'm part of the Den Association. On the 13th of May, we had a conference meeting in Firevey Hall at University of Westminster and Regent Street. We spoke on different issues and different cases that needed helping and solving. Cases like public masculinity, climate change, gender, and a lot of issues. There were a lot of speeches and articles that were said, and I took a lot from there. I learned a lot. I didn't really participate, except I was part of the crowd and part of the listeners. And I'm hoping that next year I'll be able to do more in the association and participate in it and write articles, essays, and all of that. I really enjoyed the meeting, especially on climate change, as we young people, we are the ones who could help the world today.
It was great being able to attend the conferences on the 12th and 13th of May. On the 12th, we had the Westminster Conversations towards an anti-racist university, with discussions about how to improve the accessibility for minority groups and what obstacles are still in place, and what universities, not only at Westminster but across the country, what they say they are doing, but what, you know, the actions speak louder than words. So it was really interesting to see perspectives from the university and other academics, PhD students, and see their experiences, see what they've had to go through, and see what challenges they had to overcome and have been able to do. That was really interesting to see on the 12th of May. And on the 13th, we had our Democratic Education Network annual conference, our fifth one this year, back in person. Last year we had ours online, and it was great to be able to see students, have people from outside our university visit us on site and also online. We had the University of Hanoi and students from Peru join us virtually, and it was great to have that opportunity and to have so many different sessions from so many different students and see the broad spectrum of ideas and knowledge and passion for their subject was really, really quite inspiring. And for me, being able to present my work my research that I've been doing over the past almost a year on Thailand, on authoritarianism and the inevitability of authoritarianism through hybrid democracy was something that was really quite, not only it's quite thrilling, enjoyable, and it made me realise how much I enjoyed being a part of DEN, being a part of this community and this group of students within our university space.
I gave a presentation about the challenges of climate change in Africa, and I also chaired a panel of some college students who was grateful enough to come and speak to us about the brilliant job they're doing out there, and where we could, rub minds together, and learn from each other. So, and then during the course of my presentation, during the course of the research, I learned a lot about the challenges, facing the continent of Africa, and the possible solutions to them. So, going forward, I think I'll be more interested in topics like that, especially as regards to the continent. So, and another thing I realized, like, during the course of the conference, is that my public speaking and presentation skills has improved. It's not the best. There's still work to do regarding it, but I'm happy that I can see some improvement in them. And these are one of the things that you sort of learn, getting involved with then. So I'm grateful for that, and I'm happy that I can see some improvement in that regard. I think the highlight for me is learning a lot about Peru and Vietnam, because the students over there gave some in-depth presentations on those two countries, which I've now learned a lot about now. So I think it was a great experience to sort of end the year with event like that. So I'm looking forward to next year, and hope to see you all there.
And I took part in both of the conferences held by university in the 12th and the 13th of May. The first one was mainly focused on how to build an anti-racist university, which I learned is very different from building like a non-racist university. But it was, in my opinion, an invaluable experience, because we were able to listen to both personal experiences and also academic facts and scientific facts and statistics that actually show that this is still an issue in the United Kingdom. And it was also extremely important because academics were able to give us advice on how to tackle racism and how to fight it and how to overcome it, and how to learn how to care for each other's differences and live with them without discriminating. My personal favorite one was, my favorite intervention and panel was the one that regarded genetics, and it was basically a study that showed how racist claims were born towards history, and I thought it was extremely interesting because I never thought about it in that way. And it was something that I will forever be grateful for university to get me involved with.
Try to get a project started, so it's within curriculum, and encourage the students to go and pitch different companies, pitch to charities and pitch to corporates to get sponsorship for an event which we put on at the Business Design Centre. The students are going to tell you a bit more about that, and I'll pass you over to Ruben. So thank you again for inviting us.
Thank you, Lee, and thank you for everybody here today. My name is Ruben. I teach business at City Islington College. These are some of our wonderful students from City Islington. We've been part of a recent project in the local Islington area with a company called LVN, the Local Village Network. The whole idea of that was to educate our students from the...
I send to all of you a brief message from Lima, Peru, to express a special joy for allowing and inviting last term our students of Masters of the University of San Marcos, Melissa Guaman and Lorena Renteria, who participated in the DEN last conference of students last May. Both of them could prepare an essay which will be published soon by DEN in London. Thanks a lot. This kind of collaboration is very encouraging for our students. The University of San Marcos and Pontificia Católica del Perú are having excellent relationships with the Democratic Education Network of the University of Westminster,
We had two major conferences earlier this summer. One was on building an anti-racist university. Another was on looking at different challenges faced globally, nationally, and locally. And it was organized by Democratic Education Network and the students belonging to it. In both the conferences, our focus was on exploring what kind of challenges exist in contemporary world in making society better, more just, more equal, and more inclusive. It will also look at the ways in which we can build institutions, including University of ours, which works for everyone and not only for the very few. A university, an institution that challenges all kinds of privileges, be it privilege around gender, race, ethnicity, or ableist line. The student conference also involves students who presented their own work and explored with each other the ways in which we can deal with different challenges faced by the wider world and by our own society. Now, these two conferences are part and parcel of a wider agenda within our University of Westminster to make the world, the country, the society, the city, and our own working place and study place much better in the direction of equality, diversity, inclusion. We are very committed to continue with these kinds of events, and we need support from everyone within institution and outside the institution.